We have had to wait 3 years to race at Phillip Island again, and it was well worth it. Alex Rins wins an incredible Australian Grand Prix from Marc Marquez in second and Pecco Bagnaia in third. There was a massive swing in the title fight as Pecco Bagnaia now leads the championship by 14 points after Fabio Quartararo crashed out of the race. Where do you start with that one? There was early drama with Fabio Quartararo as he had a massive moment going into the entry of the newly named Miller corner and had to go straight on to the grass. He dropped all the way back to 22nd and his race was compounded by crashing out at turn 3 when he was in 15th place. A disaster for the world champion. He will need something truly special now to catch Pecco Bagnaia. The pace of the race was much slower than expected as the riders were having to manage their tyres, and this was key for the amount of overtakes that we got. Marc Marquez was battling with Bagnaia Martin in the early phase of the race, and then Alex Rins came through from 10th on the grid and he got involved, as well as Marco Bezzecchi, to join the fight for the lead. But it was a bad day for Jack Miller as his title hopes ended as he got wiped out by Alex Marquez at his own corner. Thankfully, both riders are okay, but it's not the ending that Jack would have wanted for his home race. The race then developed into a 5-way fight and everything changed for Pecco Bagnaia when he seen on his board that Quartararo was out. He didn't want to take any risks in making a mistake and losing the championship lead that he now had. However, two riders that weren't in the title fight, Alex Rins and Marc Marquez, they duelled it out for victory, and it was an incredible end to the race as Marquez just couldn't get past Rins, and the Suzuki rider took a special victory for him and his team, as we know they're leaving the sport at the end of this season, so to see them win possibly their last race in MotoGP was just brilliant. Marc Marquez gambled with a soft rear and he was able to manage it well to take his 100th podium in the MotoGP class. It was one of his best rides for sure. Pecco Bagnaia showed his composure and scored a vital podium in his bid to become MotoGP World Champion. It is very much advantage to Pecco now, and he will have a chance next week to win the title in Malaysia if everything goes his way. Aleix Espargaro is now 27 points off the lead after finishing in 9th place. He is still in with the chance of winning this world title, but you just feel that it's hanging on by a thread. Enea Bastianini produced one of the rides of the day as he went from 15th to 5th and is 46 points off Bagnaia, which is still mathematically possible for the title, but he will need a miracle for that to happen. With all the talk of aerodynamics and ride height devices restricting races and overtakes, Phillip Island is the track that completely changed everything. The nature of the circuit means you can't really use ride height devices around it, and it showed. The amount of overtakes that we got in the first sector and final sector was just incredible. It really shows that it is a rider's track and they can make all the differences. But what Marc Marquez and Alex Rins did on the machines today was so impressive. Phillip Island is an old school track, and it's always been my favourite race on the calendar, and it showed today why I believe it is the best circuit in the world. It was a race that you couldn't take your eyes off from start to finish. We move on to Malaysia where the title could be settled, but in 2022 anything can happen, as we have seen it change so many times this season. We'll have more reaction on the Crash MotoGP podcast next week. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to Crash MotoGP for more content, and we will see you next time.